my castle. I banish you from my heart. I do not care if you love me. You know you were from the start. Wake up and I get the money. The money come every day, and it still feels like you're early. The new dollars fire. Wake up inside of my castle. I banish you from my heart. I do not care if you love me. You know you were from the start. Wake up and I get the money.
Hey. Okay. We're doing it. Episode 1 of season 2. Ciao. It's been a minute, but I'm committed and I'm back. And I'm also finding out that the hack to doing this properly is I can't do it on my phone. Which means attached from my phone at all possible opportunities. And yeah, I think I have a commitment. It's not a commitment problem, it's a consistency problem. And so switching to this camera, not only is it like this camera is for this, mentally it just makes a little bit more sense. It's more organized, and I'm also in a similar position as I was when I first started the YouTube channel. I was working for an agency and I got laid off in July, so I have time. I have time, and it is something I did want to do and do better. And so I think that using my phone and like the whole audio thing, like I was just in my head about the perfection or the lack of perfection of it all, because especially because I am a video producer in real life, but like the quality that I'm used to creating just is, funded and with an actual team of videographers and cinematographers and editors and stuff, and it does feel just really juvenile to do it by myself, but I am not letting that stop me, and you shouldn't let that stop you either, because none of this matters. nothing matters. Okay, something. As you saw in the last episode, I live in Los Angeles now. I do not live in Dallas anymore. That chapter is closed, although I still go back to Dallas once a month because I still have my residency at Lady Love, which I love, and it's an opportunity for me to travel to Dallas once a month, and just also like logistically and economically it makes sense. Flights to Dallas from Los Angeles, when booked in advance, are $150 round trip. I'm there for 2 days max, in and out, and thankfully I still have community there and I can stay with friends. It's not like I have to like get a hotel. If anything, I am getting a rental when I'm there, but again, you get the rental in advance and it's like $42 a day, and I'm only there for like 2 days max. If I were to Uber, the Ubers, I would need at the very least four Ubers, to and from the airport and to and from the venue. And that's limiting, and the Ubers are gonna surpass that cost. So it makes sense. As long as I book in advance, it makes sense. And the Lady Love residency does well now, so it makes sense. So yay, we love that for me and everyone involved. Another thing I want to point out, unrelated but important. So LA. Let's organize our thoughts. I was about to go on an ADHD divert, but I'm gonna stay focused. LA. Why did I move here? Love Dallas, recommend Dallas for a number of reasons. However, I felt that my 5 years in Dallas was it was an unexpected pit stop in healing. A lot went on for me to get there. I moved there in the pandemic. A lot went on when I got there. I knew one person 2 people, and I kind of just built my life from scratch, as I've talked about before, previous episodes. And from the community standpoint and building something from scratch, it was absolutely great, and I love and miss my people there. However, during those 5 years, I really wasn't, the healing that I was going through was not focused on my career. If anything, it was outside of the career, like outside of me building myself up in my career. All of that kind of came crashing down. Not crashing down, but you know, it kind of stopped. It just stopped, and I had to ground myself and kind of figure out who I was outside of, you know, me working and having a career and doing all the things and being in this hustle mindset. So Dallas was a beautiful place for me to figure that out, to kind of be stripped of everything and just, you know, return back to myself. And I was able to do that. And then finally, I guess like approaching year 5, because I was there for 4.5 years, I started, you know, in the other side of the healing, even though healing is a constant thing, it's a forever thing, but on the other side of that like hump, I started being like, okay, like I'm ready to go back to work, like for real, like I'm ready to dedicate time and effort and I guess some of that grit, but in a more responsible way and not based on survival, to me being back on my BS as a creative, just fully committing to it. And I was looking around and I just came to the conclusion that Dallas was not the place to do that. I wanted to get back into production. I wanted to get back on set. I wanted to get back into the ad space and like just be in the weeds of it. And it's just not in Dallas at this time. And the production community in Dallas, while it's there, I found it to be very like cliquish, very tight and small and Caucasian. And I just wasn't inspired. I wasn't inspired by it. I wasn't really inspired by some of the creative communities in Dallas, and it's no shade to them. It's just the community, the creative community that I'm, you know, used to being a part of, and like who my peers are. I just felt like it was a little different. Dallas is like, if you're an influencer, or you're looking to be an influencer, any of that, Dallas is a great place to be. Everybody wants to, or is kind of like in that mood or mode of like creating content and like, you know, restaurant reviews and like this is where to go, and this is, and like lifestyle individual content. And for me, I'm just more in like brand spaces and like, you know, bigger legacy companies and advertising and promotional videos, TV, film specifically also. And those are the things that excite me, and those houses, those companies aren't really in Dallas, or they're not a lot of them. And then also like I miss being around, you know, like my filmmakers and my writers for TV and just like, it's just a little different. And LA and New York are both houses for that, even though the industry is not great. A lot of people that I know that are super talented are not working right now, including myself. And yeah, it's hard. It's just tough. It's not how it used to be. And that's for a number of reasons. The strike that happened, AI was a huge, massive part of it as well. And then just budget cuts overall. It feels like there's this weird like war on creatives right now. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like, it almost feels, and like this is probably my perspective, but it feels like there's this attack on creatives, like almost like, because, you know, like creatives, like we run it up, like people are getting paid a lot of money to do really good, amazing work of like amazing projects, and it feels like somebody came and looked around and was like, y'all are making how much doing what? Picking up a camera? You know what I mean? Like just minimizing it. And, you know, we're making like, some people are making what like a teacher makes in a year on one project. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody came in and was like, nah. And I feel, this is my theory. This is my tinfoil hat theory, one of many. And people are suffering. People are just like, it's just not in an abundance as it used to be. I think that it is at the bottom of the incline. Another thing logistically, like behind the scenes, is that productions are not shooting in the States anymore. They're not shooting in LA. They're not really shooting in New York. They're going out of the country to shoot because it's cheaper for them, which is, you know, BS. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of talks to push the government to like regulate it and like give tax cuts to bring it back, bring shooting, bring production back to California and all the things. But it's just like, at the end of the day, people are going to go, especially these big buck companies, these billionaires, they are going to go where they can keep the most of their money. And that's why a lot of these productions are now in Canada, Montreal, Toronto, all the things out of North America. And it's rough. And then also like the AI of it all. From a marketing perspective, internally at corporations, they've downsized these departments, and they're just heavily depending on AI, and it's so obvious, and you can tell that they're doing this, but it's just like they're saving money. And I don't think it's sustainable, but it's like, okay, well, if we can save 5 years worth of money, then we're going to do it. And I think that that's like literally the thinking, even though the quality of content is just diminishing, and you can always tell. And it's like, I use AI, like I use ChatGPT for my own things, but I'm not going to write an entire, you know, like I'm not going to rely my entire content based on AI and then call myself a writer. I like using ChatGPT as like an extra gut check, or like a spelled grammar check, because I'm not the best editor, or even a brainstorm pad, research, things like that. People are just like gutting whole departments. My old BET department completely gone, which is a whole nother rant and a whole nother reason, but that is definitely a part of it, because they're centralizing and not prioritizing original content and writers and all that stuff. So it's like these writing rooms for these shows, they used to be like 10, 12 people, and now it's like 3, 4. So anyways, I say all that to say I came to LA. It feels actually insane a little bit. But I did my astrocartography, which I think I covered in a previous episode. I'll have to go check, and if not, then that will be another clip, or we'll discuss later on. But I did my astro map. Essentially is your astrology based on geographically your birth chart. And when I did it, first of all, I've always thought that LA was going to be a pit stop for me, especially with my career and everything like that. It's always been like, yeah, I'm gonna move to LA. I didn't think I would move here and stay here super long term, but I knew in my spirit that I was like, I need to go to LA. And so this was the third attempt that I was making to move to LA, and then something happened. So the first time I was really gonna do it, and then the pandemic happened. Boom. That was when I was in New York. Then the second time, I was gonna boom, about to do it, narrow down where I wanted to live, and then the strike happened. I was like, okay, no. Then the third time, was ready to do it. Literally did not re-sign my lease in Dallas. I had a whole plan, was gonna sublet, and then take my time finding food, blah, 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 blah. Woo woo, fires. And I was like, bro. And then I had to be like, yo, there's never going to really be a right time. So what I ended up doing was that I postponed the trip or the move because of the fires by a few months. And originally I was gonna come January, and my lease, I couldn't really renew my lease. They wanted me to pay like 10 grand month to month. I was like, Southside and Lamar, please, like, get a grip. Get a grip. But so I just postponed it. I ended up having to sublet in Dallas to give myself more time. I moved all my stuff still out of the apartment, sold all like my big furniture on Facebook Marketplace, and sublet it in Dallas for like an extra month or two. And then in March, I left Dallas and I drove out here, me and my dog, Ice, who apparently I can't even call Ice anymore in public. I'll be walking him, they'll be like, what's your dog's name? I'm like, Ice. They're like, oh, Run. I'm like, that's not, like, first of all, Ice is 5, so he was born first. And so now I'd be like, Icy. His full name, he has multiple, you know, Ice Bucket. Bubby is, he's like a Caribbean kid, like you got multiple names for the kid. So Ice, Bubby, Little Butt. But anyways, so me and Ice by ourselves, we drove out here. I did it over the course of like 4 days because I didn't want to drive at night, and I just wanted to be safe and take my time. I wasn't in a rush. And made some pit stops, did New Mexico, then, well, did Austin because I actually had a gig for South by, then drove to Santa Fe, then drove to, what was it, Albuquerque? So I think it was Albuquerque, yeah. And then Phoenix, and then I stopped in Joshua Tree for a night because I've always wanted to do that. And you shouldn't wait on your fantasy of, like, I always wanted to go there with a boo. Don't wait on, you know, the fantasy of trips and stuff. I went there. It was nice. It was a little fire. It was like a little glamping situation, cute. And then LA. So it took 4 days. We drove out here, did sublet for like the first month, and yeah, been out here since March. It is about to be October. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's been dope. I will say that the transition has been easy. I literally do feel like I just drove out here and continued my life. And that's on having friends already here, which was really a blessing, and kind of having the experience of Dallas, of just starting from scratch in Dallas, like building community from zero in Dallas, and kind of copy and pasting that same intention when I got out here. But definitely having people that I love and that I've known for years being out here has absolutely helped the transition and has made it flawless, honestly. I mean, not that flawless. Like when I got here, Ice got sick and he was in the hospital for like 5 days. And then I was out here, I got here, end of March. So April, May, June. By the time like end of June came, I got the notice that I was getting laid off. I was like, cool. But thankfully by that time I already had an apartment, and you know, like I was settled. So it was like, okay, cool, fine. This time I will say with the layoff, I did not take too long to notify and like start doing the resource thing. I think the first time I got laid off, I was like, oh, it'll be fine, like, you know, a few weeks, and then a few weeks turned into months, and then I was like, oh, okay, like I should not pay my rent with my credit card. So this time I was like, I'm asking for help, yeah, from jump. And based on how the agency was going and me having eyes and being an aware person, and, you know, the mathing, I had an idea that my contract wasn't going to get renewed again, just based on how much business it was getting or intaking and the forecasting versus the actuals. And so I kind of had an idea, but, you know, again, the job market is absolute shit for creatives. And so mentally I was way more prepared, even though I was very nervous. And the biggest thing was like, I don't want to end up how I was when I was like 15 months in it. I'm talking I did not. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, that wasn't that long ago. Like, yeah, it was like a year and a half ago, but you know, I'm still recovering from not working for 15 months. When you make over 100K and then you don't work for 15 months and it's like you deplete all your savings and like all of the things, it's like that shit is scary. Like, and unfortunately for me, I haven't been saving since I was like a teenager, which I probably should have when I used to be a server instead of blowing all that cash. I should have saved. That's fine. If you're reading or if you're watching this and you are like 19, 20, 21 and you're working in a restaurant, don't blow all of that cash on clothes and shoes. Just don't do it. Save it. Save like 60% of that cash. And I'm talking like a ROI. Save it over there. So thankfully I do have in that year and a half I was able to aggressively pay off a bunch of stuff, but still certain things that were lingering. I felt like I was just getting in a really good place, like almost done with a bunch of things, and then boom, laid off again. So this time mentally way more prepared. Still like I'm living week to week, like literally like finding the joys every day. I'm staying on top of my movement and my workouts. I have been able to secure 2 wellness places out here with memberships for free. So like I have my yoga studio. I have 2 yoga studios I can go to for free, and I have a gym like to go lift for free, and I will talk more about that at a later time, how I was able to do that. But yeah, it's like the barter thing. You gotta get creative, like strategic, like all that stuff is possible. And yeah, so those are like high level, even though how long has this been recording for? 20 minutes. High level updates. And this time it's gonna look a little different. I'm gonna make sure like I brand it a little bit better. The quality is gonna be hopefully a bit better, just you know, with this. And I'm really just going to recommit to this. So if you were rocking with me on season 1, let's call it, welcome back. Yeah, happy to be here, still DJing, all the good things. Still freelancing. Ice is still snorting and grunting. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and I would like to talk about my hair real quick because I did wash it today. So LA has hard water, so I went and bought a shower filter, which I probably had it for like 2 weeks. I installed it today. And so I installed my filter. I had gotten some samples of Sacred, washed my hair with the shampoo, it's not the deep conditioner, it's like the hair mask. I'm gonna look it up and I'll put, you know, the text of what it is. It's like, it's not deep conditioner though, it's like hair treatment. Used that, kept it in put a shower cap on, 20 minutes, rinsed it out, and then did a little conditioner, and then used it's like the moisture thing. I'll look up that too and I'll put the official name of it, but it like keeps the moisture in. It's like an after, you know, wash thing. And let it towel for an hour or so and let it air dry. And I'm like, you know, we're doing good. Hold on, little wind. But it's like fluffy and it's not flat and it feels good. It looks pretty good. I do need a trim, so I'm going to be, I think I might go to Ulta to get my hair trimmed. If that is something that you're like, no, please let me know directly. Because I did see this girl who's like a curly hairstylist, but like it's like $300 to get a haircut, and I gotta come with my hair essentially like this, like washed already, air dried, I guess, so that she can see the pattern. I'm just like, and then if I don't do it, there's a fee, but the fee is only $20, and I'm just like, $20 is not enough to charge for people to like do all this pre-work before coming to a hair appointment that costs $300. I'm sorry, like that's just what I think. But if it is just like literally like just so you see like how my hair is naturally and then you're gonna start it over, I can understand that, but I would like to know that in advance. Like I need more information. I was just reading the website, but I pass her because she's like a few doors down from like where I go to get waxed, and it's definitely cute stuff, but I don't got $300 for my hair when I really just need a trim, and I don't want to do it myself because every time I cut my hair myself I'm typically in crisis and I regret it. So anyways, these are the updates. Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, these are the updates, and we'll see you soon. Bye.